We are live. Welcome to Triple D Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog, and of course, this wonderful YouTube channel.
Old Man Grognard. Hi,
With
folks.
me is Glen Hallstrom, otherwise known as Old Man Grognard. It's been a couple of weeks because last month, April had that magical fifth Friday, so we had a week off.
Yes, this is Triple D, which means we've got Triple D. No, we don't have Triple Ds.
I personally don't have Triple Ds, and I'm really glad I don't, because I don't know if I can handle
same it. Same here. And yeah, we had five Fridays that time. Anyway, It worked out, and I had a birthday, so.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Glenn.
Well, thank you. I turned 65 last month.
You don't look a hair over 64.
Which is good.
I know.
And well, I look at my dog over there and realize my dog in human years is just 2 years younger than me.
Oh, wait, your dog is 63? God bless.
Yeah, he's 9.
Okay. 7 years. Yep.
Bad luck. Yeah.
Well,
hello, Dave.
Dave has
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
You old dog, you.
So we are 3 weeks away from North Texas RPG Con.
Is it really 3 weeks away, or
about? Which means I got about 3 weeks to write my damn game. I haven't even started it.
Yeah, we had somebody on the Discord chat last night when we were doing a live chat ask about gaming on at North Texas, because they signed up. They're coming from Canada, and all the games are closed. Everything is signed up for already. I mean, for me, that's never been a.
I signed up for one game.
I'm in like.
Every year I go there and I sign up for less and less, hoping I'll be able to GM more and more.
Right.
And it kind of doesn't happen. But, I'm there, folks. Yank me aside if you want to play something, because otherwise I'll spend 4 days schmoozing.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, I'm going to go and I'm going to bring one of Joe Wetzel's Inkbowl designed decks of encounter decks, where you can, because I can run an adventure off one of his decks and be ready in 5 minutes, and that way, if I'm running Swords and Wizardry Light or something like that, I can run something very light, very quick, very easy. And
I'm hoping the Inkwell folks will be there.
But even if he's not, I mean, it's just his stuff is just so useful for a pickup game.
No, I need more Dungeon Morph dice.
Oh my god, I have 2 sets, because I
only have one set of 4. Okay, and I could use a little more diversification, like I need caverns and stuff.
I picked up a deck, I guess with the early Kickstarter, and then Rach won a deck. A set of the dice at North Texas a few years back. So we got 2 sets.
Cool.
She gets lucky in that shit. She wins stuff at North Texas, and like on the raffle, it's like, oh great, we've got another set of the AD&D 1E reprints. I needed more of that. All right, thank you, Rach. I really appreciate it.
Spread the love. Spread the love.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yes. Hi. Of course I'm right. So I'm a GM. I'm right.
Have you been gaming?
Could be. Yeah, I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Monday game got put off last week, which was good because I had to go do stuff anyway. We're in the middle of a fight in a mansion where one of our rogue types can't keep their hands to themselves, found the guy's stash of treasure, and now we're fighting a treasure mimic. Last thing that happened, it spit acid, blinded me for a turn, and then he said, okay, see you next time. Huh?
We'll just punt.
Yeah, something like that. And Matt's game is going along well. We took out a blue dragon.
Shit. What level are you guys?
I think I'm 4 right now. We're at average fourth level. And this is basic rules cyclopedia Beckme D&D.
Fair enough. All right.
And my Hyperborea game, I don't remember. Sometime in the next few weeks, my second session is going to happen. I decided to actually use that secondary profession table that you usually get in 1E.
Oh, and in the DMG, it only
Yeah.
mattered if you had like jeweler or armor or weaponsmith. Everything
Well,
else was worthless. I'm just saying.
I make it a little more interesting. They have the same kind of hello, Mr. Woodard. I have the same kind of table in Hyperborea.
Okay.
And I told them, I said, look, either roll or pick a secondary profession. I want to know what it is. Because now in my game, you can get up to a +3 on something if you can convince me that your old profession applies to what you're doing. If you can convince me of that, I'll say roll a d6.
Okay.
1, 2 is a +1, 3, 4 is a +2, 5, 6 is a +3.
Fair enough.
I always thought that those professions should me running hot and cold about skills. I always thought those professions should be put to use some way or another.
Yeah,
and I stole that idea from Tunnels and Trolls anyway.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, when it comes to skills in AD&D, especially 1E, I never felt that they were a really good fit. I know we got the non-weapon proficiencies with the Dungeoneer Survival Guide, the Wilderness Survival Guide, but it wasn't a smooth fit. I know they like to think it was. I know that's the intention, but it wasn't. And in a lot of ways, it became, oh, well, you don't have a swimming skill. Well, guess what? You can't swim. Well, wait, before that was never an issue. Well, now it is, because now we have skills for this shit. Now you can't do it.
Yeah, I'm also trying to break players of the habit of, I don't have this, so I can't do it.
Which
if somebody asks you to do brain surgery, you don't have it. Yeah, but everything else, make a roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. But and that's a lot of that again, in my opinion, started with the survival guides in AD&D, but we see that now in 5e.
It just stuff like skills and stuff just kind of starts putting the players in little boxes, starting to, and it's more like, don't use your brain, just roll. And that's not, I can't abide by that.
Well, it's rough because I don't think that was the intention of,
no, it wasn't
there, so, but it's like a secondary skills. It's a secondary effect of adding these things as defined abilities. It becomes, well, if I don't have it, I can't do it.
Right.
Oh, geez.
First time I ran into that is playing Champions, because everybody does it in Champions. But see, the reason I run hot and cold with skills is it tends to get people in the mindset of they have to roll something every time without, just role play. Tell me what you want to do.
Right.
But at the same time, my contention is you had to have been doing something before you decided to pick up a sword and go into a dungeon. Something that applies.
Yeah, John Miller has a point here. Although there were no official rules for ability checks in OD&D, presumably there was an intention that ability scores could be treated on a 3-6. They did 2d6 ability checks in the original game, or OG, Blackmore campaign. And you know what? Oh, that's a valid point. Whenever we house rule this stuff, 3d6 makes a lot of sense, right? You work with the bell curve
Yeah.
that's built on the attribute, but that's not the way it worked. When we did it, it was always we're playing with the d20, therefore it's going to be based on a d20, and that is not a bell curve. So, if you were somebody who had a, I don't know, 16 stat with a bell curve rolling 3d6 on, 3d6 for 16 or less, it's a lot easier than rolling actually a 16 or less on a d20. And the whole thing too is AD&D are built on higher is better. So the reversal of such takes a huge change in the way you're thinking and the way you're gaming, and it's probably the reason why when AD&D did add in non-weapon proficiencies, it was a roll high system, right? Because that's what you're used to, and it makes game-wise it makes sense for consistency.
Yeah.
They
You're
didn't
right.
really worry about consistency much back
Now,
then.
Mensa Basic has a rule. Yes, they do. I mean, the game I'm in with Matt, yeah, he uses them. And I consider the skill system in BECME D&D, Rule Cyclopedia D&D, probably one of the better systems because it's very, very limited. I mean, you only have and the skills are based on your stats, which is what I like. It's one I can live with. Let me put it that way.
Right. So now, my gaming groups, and I say groups because I played in high school, I played weekends and summers in the Poconos, so there was two different groups that we kind of had two different. Nobody played basic. Nobody had basic because basic was for babies.
Babies.
I'm not saying it was right, but we were in junior high school or high school. We
Understood.
were teenagers. We played
Understood.
advanced. It was the little ones that played basic, so
Right.
that was part of the issue.
I hadn't seen a basic set until I started doing Saber Die about 10, 15 years ago.
Well, yeah,
because I started late. I started when I was 22.
Okay.
And I started with one right away, first edition AD&D. I never saw a basic set until about 15 years ago. And so it's like, oh, this is cool. So I understand the thing of being for babies, but then again, all those times when the advanced books started coming out, putting them together all the time, what's the problem,
I mean, when I got a little bit older, I got into my 20s, I realized that basic was not this baby set of rules. It was a parallel rule set for AD&D in a lot of ways, especially as BECME happened and you got the rules encyclopedia. It wasn't like, oh, well, this is for no. They were certainly intricate, complex rules. They were not basic in the sense that one would say, oh, that's basic, that's elementary, but it's a parallel rule set. So I understand too, again, as a grown adult, why TSR, Wizards of the Coast, in the end, was like, oh, we need only one rule set to go forward. We shouldn't be fighting ourselves. Because really, that's what you're doing. You're splitting your audience, which was probably counterproductive to a large extent.
And to me, basic is just that. It doesn't reflect on your maturity or your age or anything like that.
No.
And actually, I think that system uses it to its advantage because you can get down and dirty and play something, and you can use just as much imagination and come up with just as much weird stuff as you could in an advanced game.
And I know you're a fan of the Rules Encyclopedia, Glenn, but
I am.
The Rules Encyclopedia is very much not a basic game. It is very complex. It has a lot of optional rules, and it has.
I really don't see much difference between that and BX. But then again, I don't really look at a game. I don't drill down very far.
Well, to me, when I looked at it, it seemed more like AD&D. It had its weapon mastery and all
Yeah.
these other systems in it that play as. I mean,
And
BX was simple because it limited the rules that you had access to. But
right.
the rules cyclopedia gave you pretty much BECME all in one. Well, maybe not the Immortals part, but it gave you
Mm-hmm.
20 levels of gaming and
Excuse me, 36 levels of gaming.
all right. I stand corrected. It's been a while since I popped mine open, but
The RC and BECME, you can tell that advanced started influencing it just because of the things you said.
mm,
Because that was around the time, was it 91? Second edition was out. They have an appendix in the back to how to convert from that to second edition and back again.
really,
Yeah. Yeah. One of the appendixes in the back.
I mean, when I picked up BECME, and I was running, I guess I was running 2E at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up the rules encyclopedia or cyclopedia, and I was like, wow, this is a better treatment of weapon specialization than fucking AD&D. You know, and
Yeah.
there were certain things about it that I was like, I'd like to import this into 2E as opposed to what I'm running with it. It didn't work with my group because my group was, and rightfully so, this was how it was back in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You were either a group that house ruled everything, and that was probably very much the West Coast, but we were the East Coast, and you ran shit as written, even if it meant, all right, you're not using segments, you're not using weapon speed, but
Right.
you're not house ruling by doing that. You're just
Right.
hand waving. We're not doing it because it's just too fucking complicated. We're not
Right.
using weapons versus armor class adjustment because fuck that shit. But
Weapon speed. Yeah.
but um we didn't call it house ruling. Basic, expert, and the levels beyond that was written in a way that it was very open to house ruling. And AD&D, what was first edition, second edition, wasn't as receptive to house ruling. The way the rules were written, they were a bit
Mm-hmm.
more. I mean, I'm surprised that AD&D first edition was able to incorporate Unearthed Arcana and then the Wilderness Survival Guides as rule supplements that changed a lot of how that game played without breaking the game. And in retrospect, that surprises me because when you think about it, AD&D was supposed to be run as written as a convention game, and not house ruled as Dungeons and Dragons and basic D&D was. So I don't know.
Well, that's the way it goes. Yeah, Mark Gutzger was right. I've heard so many people do a mishmash of basic and ADD. I find that refreshing, actually. I've got Advanced Labyrinth Lord, which is, it's got the AD&D, the first edition stuff translated over to basic. I like it. There's OSE has that too with the advanced rules. So yeah, I find it interesting. Let me put it that way. It's fascinating to see.
Yeah, well, even Swords of Wizardry Complete is pretty much original D&D / basic D&D with the
Mm-hmm.
optional classes added to it.
Right.
But you're not getting the exceptional strength of 1800 added to it, which is in retrospect coming into it
Mm-hmm.
from somebody who started with AD&D. It seemed perfectly natural that your fighters would get. You needed an 18 strength because 18, exceptional strength was where the shit was. But
Yeah,
as
I
somebody
miss that.
as somebody who's gamed OSR gaming, and most OSR games are not really based on AD&D, they're often based on basic or original D&D, white box,
Mm-hmm.
you see that ability scores have less of an impact. They were more of an impact in AD&D.
Right.
They had less of an impact in original and basic expert. And then I personally, I guess, should I say adult gaming? But my view as somebody who's came back to gaming in my 40s, I'd rather have it have less of an impact and have the gameplay have more of an impact.
Yeah, Matt, I'm from the West Coast and I started gaming up in San Jose. I'm from LA, but I started gaming in San Jose. And every time somebody mentioned Arduin, people would say, "Oh, don't do that. Don't use that. That's a broken rule set. Don't do that. No, no, no." I recently just got like the entire collection, and I'm going, "No, no, wait, these are cool. Why are we using these? Look at all the tables." You know?
I haven't dealt with the guys behind Emperor's Choice, the guys that now publish Arduin. It's an amazing selection of
Books.
I don't know if I want to say alternate, but they're alternative rules for classic D&D style gaming.
Well, all I saw was a bunch of tables I can use.
Oh God, they are awesome, and they are so inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't, and maybe it's because I'm looking at this as an adulting gamer, but I don't have to use anything as written. I use everything as inspiration, and I think a lot of us forget
Exactly.
that. You know, inspiration is the key, I think, in our older adulting lives, as opposed to, oh, I got to run it as written. Well, what the rules are broken? Oh, but I got to run it as written because that's what the rules say.
I never ever followed that, mainly because I was lazy. It's like I don't want to have to read all this and follow it the way it's supposed to, and stop the game every 3 minutes. The hell with that.
Oh, Glen, stop it every 3 minutes. That's what we want.
To look up a rule, you know? Oh, no. Make a decision and move on.
Well, all right. Now, since we're on this topic, and folks, just so you know, we are, Glen and I, we run totally unscripted. So this is unscripted. But Glen is touching on something that I think is actually pretty important.
Like I said, I had nothing to talk about tonight, but that never stopped me. So,
I think
what did I come up with? I actually came up with something. What was it?
Well, here's the thing. What's more important? Is it rules accuracy? Is it running by the book, or is it making a ruling and keeping the game going?
Fun is the important thing. Whichever one you want to use, fun is the important thing.
Well, for me, and I'm going to have to say, this is more important since my gaming 2.0, because I will look at myself and say, up until 97, that was gaming 1.0, and I returned probably in 2009, 2010. That's gaming 2.0 for me. And in my first iteration of gaming, from junior high school through my late 20s, it was more important to run things by the book. I was the jackass that if I was running a game, hopefully I was running it at home, especially in my 2E era. But if I was running it at a friend's house, big backpack, maybe a secondary bag, because Player's Handbook, DMG, Monster Manual or Monsters Compendium, plus Monster Manual 2 and Monster Manual 3, then all the complete handbooks, and the adventure, and the setting box, and it all had to be at your table and ready to go because you needed it, because your players were expecting it, and you had to have everything. And when I came back to gaming, it was more of the idea of, oh wait, they're asking me a question about Osric / AD&D, and it's one of those obscure ones. And you know what? I'm pretty sure there's an answer in the book, but I don't know what it is. I'm gonna make a ruling, and I would make the ruling. I'd be like, listen, I'm gonna make a ruling, and at the end of the session, I will look up the official answer in the book, and if I was right, we'll keep it. And if I'm wrong, we could decide to retcon it as best it fits to make a decision based upon that. But I'm not going to stop the gameplay to make sure I am pulling the correct answer out of my
Exactly.
ass. I'm not doing that. So it was, it was not for me. It was very. It was a huge relief. It was very stress relieving to have that kind of an attitude. I do remember stopping gameplay in my teens and my 20s. I got to find this rule somewhere. I know I got to find this. And you take a 20-minute break to find something. You've ruined whatever immersion.
Whatever momentum you had, you just stopped.
And nobody fucking needs that shit. So, Dark Cross, I changed so many things in AD&D First Edition that it was a totally different game.
I've seen guys do that, and it's easy to do. Believe me. I mean, I used to play at in Caltech in Pasadena, where they had Warlock, which was a radically different version of AD&D. No, I left around 2000, actually.
Damn you, Glen.
But yeah, well, what can I say? I mean, I met Becky on the internet. And next thing you know, yeah, we should get that guy on our show.
And I haven't gotten there yet. Let me see. Oh, okay. 40-year ongoing campaign. God bless. You know what?
God bless.
I don't have the attention span to run a campaign for 40 years. I don't. I'm going to find the new shiny at some point and go, I want to play. I want to run. This is the setting. I don't have 40 years in me. I don't have 4 years in me. You're lucky if you have 4 months in me. I hate to say it that way.
Yes, he does. That is our dog, Jackson, who is a pain in the butt sometimes. So
let me out, God damn it! I want
to. If you really want to see him, I'll take him out and show it to you. But right
all
now,
right. So, see now in the live comments, if you want the dog to come out, you've got to say something. I am not going to have a vote on this. All right. Somebody give that dog a file.
Come on, boy. Come here. Come on, puppy. There. Ta-da. He just got groomed yesterday.
Oh, what a cutie.
He's 9 years old.
Oh, if Rach was here, she'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'll let him run around here for a while. No peeing. Anyway, what were we saying? Oh yeah, making stuff up. Yes, I believe that is the complete Warlock. It's that's the one Gary saw, and he dubbed it Dungeons and Beavers. Because Caltech, well, their mascot at Caltech was the beaver, so they call it Dungeons and Beavers.
Okay.
Yes, I remember that, but I did not play. I've never played Warlock there. I was in a champions group.
Okay.
Yes. Now with Dennis Maloney and all those guys.
Now this was Champions, the box set. I guess the first edition.
This was this was Big Blue Book, 4th edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because my experience with Champions was the box set. I think that was the first edition. Maybe the second. Who the hell knows? I still remember it was just way too many fucking D6 dice for me to.
Oh, that was the fun part. There, here you go, boy. Half deaf, anyway. Anyway, yeah, no, that was a fun part. Buckets of D6s. I always tried to make a character with 100 strength so I could roll 20 D6s if I hit somebody.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I wanted to plant people in walls.
You know, I guess that is part of the challenge from the time, right? Because, I mean, as again, my gaming career 2.0, I'm a huge fan of Tunnels and Trolls. 1.0, I fucking hated Tunnels and Trolls. I thought it was a shit system. I wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't like it. Too many D6s. What the hell is this shit? And that view changed when I came back to gaming. I had a different view on it. But I did not like those buckets of D6s in any of my games. So, and not that D6s are a bad choice. We look at things like Star Wars D6 and Ghostbusters from the time from West End Games. It was a good choice because you made a game, an RPG, that was accessible to the average non-gamer. It's like these. Yeah. We all have that in our Risk, our Parcheesi, whatever game we're playing, Monopoly, even whatever game we're playing with D6, we have those available. Those are common dice. I play craps in Atlantic City or Las Vegas or on the street corner. D6s, I understand what that is. D20s, D12s, D8s.
Well, that was the whole thing. He said, I made it all D6s because everybody got a few D6s in board games and stuff, or Yahtzee, or,
Yeah. So, I mean, but when I was a younger gamer, D6-based games, I liked the Star Wars game. It wasn't bad. But I was like, oh, it's got to use D6s. Because I wanted the magic.
Ooh, the dice pools, yes.
The magic to me for role-playing games was, they use different dice. They don't use those standard D6 dice for my board games. So,
well, first time I saw Tunnels and Trolls was when I first realized dice can explode. Oh boy!
Oh yeah. I rolled doubles. Roll again. What?
Yeah. Take those 2 1s and take those 2 2s, roll them again. 2 4s, roll them again.
So even if I roll snake eyes, it's not bad? No, it's not bad.
No, not at all. If you roll one, I believe a 1 and a 2 is fumble.
Right. But a 1 and a 1 is roll it again. Yeah. Let's have some fun.
Oh yeah. That's why you have so many. That's why the difficulty can go up so high, because once they start exploding, man, you can get there,
Well, I today on drive-through, the deal of the day is a Monsters adventure. It's an actual GM adventure. It's not a solo. The Gauntlet of Doom. It's like $2, but it's again, for somebody who has followed TNT for a number of years, I never considered Monsters to be its own system. It was always like a quick hack of TNT. But with the sale of Flying Buffalo, flying, and I don't even know what the status is of Tunnels and Trolls, but with the sale of Flying Buffalo, I don't believe, and I'm not talking as an authority on this, folks, so I'm not giving you any inside information. I don't have any.
So did his family sold it to someone else, or
Rick Loomis's heirs,
family?
Yes, sold Flying Buffalo to I mentioned it today.
Hi guys, we were just talking about Arduin.
Yeah. They sold it to who the fuck did they sell it to? Web Sphere last summer. I don't know who Web Sphere is,
Okay.
but so Tunnels and Trolls is sold to Web Sphere, but somehow Ken St. Andre kept control of Monsters Monsters. Now, Monsters is basically Tunnels and Trolls from the view of the monsters. It's like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
going to
and
play a
I and
game.
I, and I always got the impression that was his preferred game.
Probably. It seems to be. Well, in any case, that one he has the rights to. So Monsters appears to be a Tunnels and Trolls powered, engined RPG that so Ken has rewritten or represented some of his classic titles, including I think the world's toughest dungeon, to no longer be Tunnels and Trolls to be Monsters. It's the same thing.
Well, the Judges Guild version is you can use either one.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now he's pushing it toward Monsters. Again, my experience was
and I believe Stackpole kept Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes
I have no idea where that went. Uh,
because yeah,
well, they reprinted it what 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
something like that. I remember I have an old copy around somewhere I bought a few years ago in North Texas. The old black and white cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought that off of Rick Loomis.
It's a decent system now. Um, my opinion on Tunnels and Trolls might differ from others. I think as a solo system, it
Mhm.
is great. I don't think that all the solo adventures are perfect for it. It's like, oh, run a brand new character through this adventure, you're gonna die right away. They don't give you how many you should have at least 75 ads for this adventure. They don't give you that range usually. But I think TNT works best with a small group. Maybe two
Yeah,
players.
I think you're right. About 3 players at the most. You know.
Yeah. Once you get beyond it, once you get to a standard D&D table of I don't know, 5 to 6, 5 to 8 players, TNT falls under that weight. It does not seem to handle it very well. And I'll be honest with you, somebody who's followed TNT, I have original copies starting from second edition. I have a reprint of first edition.
I've got deluxe. That's about it.
I'm partial to fourth edition, but I still don't fucking understand how melee and missile weapons can happen in the same kind of combat. It's weird. They're two different ways to resolve things. They don't seem to interact very well, and I haven't thought about it in probably over a year. But one day I have to go through it. Yes, James, the city books are
I
awesome.
used to have a whole set of them. Now I got maybe 2. They're great. Oh, but somebody asked me if I was a student at Caltech. No, I wasn't. I just hung around. I met my. I'm from Long Beach, and the guys from some of the guys played up at Caltech because they were students. So I would go up there like on a Saturday night, go into one of the rooms at the student union, and we just bash each other all night.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never an NYU student, but it was probably about 2 years. I spent more time at NYU than my own college or Queens College.
Yeah. Well, don't come to Caltech. You probably like destroy their dungeon with rock to mud.
I could do that. Make me a 14th level or 15th level druid, and I'll take your dungeon and I'll destroy it with rock to mud, as I did at Columbia University, and I was invited not to come back because that's just the kind of player I was. I
Well,
mean,
that's poor sportsmanship on by the rest of them. So
okay,
you got a clever way to do it. You did it. He
yeah,
did. You know what? He could have. Okay, this is the thing about the GM. You did that. I would give it to you to a certain level, but I wouldn't, like have it totally ruin my dungeon. maybe
Right.
you melted one level, everything fell, boom,
Right.
and that's about it. There's a way out of any of those things and still give the player satisfaction that they did something. I was in a Night Below campaign. I probably told the story before. And we came upon that temple of slimes, molds, and jellies.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend, who is the cleric, saying, I need to deface this place. It is an unholy place. And I was playing the fighter, and I said, go ahead, throw the holy water. I will stand at the door, throw the holy water. No, I have to go up to the tabernacle, up to the altar and do it. And like an idiot, I let him do it. And he went up to the altar, poured the holy water on there, and says, I'm standing right behind you. Anything comes out, I'm making your ass out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, the temple exploded with slimes, molds, and jellies. And so we left the dungeon. And then we decided to come back. And he kept saying, well, there's more slimes. And the dungeon kept filling up with slimes, molds, and jellies. At one point, he goes, I can't continue this campaign. Why? Because I don't know what to do with you guys. You guys made it so nobody could go in the dungeon because of the slimes, molds, and jellies. And the first thing I thought was, oh man, come on. You can't think something, I would have come up with some. I mean, I don't want to seem like I got a big head or anything, but I, as a lowly player, could have come up with something to keep going. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. But yeah, you got to be able to, adjudicate it. That's what's your job.
Yeah. James Seymour wants to know, how many NYU co-eds did you frisk? This was before my law enforcement career. However,
that shouldn't stop you.
Washington Square Park is right at NYU, and I would walk through Washington Square Park, and back then, we're talking late 80s, early 90s. Washington Square Park was an open air drug den. There's no two ways about it. I spent the whole week working the park in '97. When I was out of the academy, I was signed to that local precinct for a week. I was out sick for 3 weeks, but
so what happened in New York? NYU alum here.
Oh, you're an NYU alum, Rich?
Yeah.
Oh, see?
You didn't even know you married an NYU alum? What's wrong with you?
She got one of her certificates at NYU, but here's the thing. And I would walk through Washington Square Park, and the drug dealers would see me, and I'll be honest with you, my hair was probably longer than it is right now. I was one of those gamers that believed in. I would wear like my little dragon ornament and my cross from Miraculous Metal on various silver chains around my neck at different lengths, maybe even a crystal, because hey, that was kind of that was cool.
That was cool.
The drug dealers would see me walking through the park, and they thought I was a narc. They'd be like, "5-0." And they did, the drug dealer would go, and I'm like, Rachel's like, yeah, right in the background. She goes, you always had the look. So now, true story. I go back there. I'm on the job as a cop for about 2 years. Down there on a weekend, because they used to have some like local entertainers, guys that do like the different stunts and acrobatics. You'd see them on the weekends. I went down to see those guys, and drug dealers were trying to pitch to me. They were trying to sell to me. Really? I'm on the job. They're trying to sell to. Now I looked. No, I didn't have the long hair. I had the short hair. I looked very, very clean cut. That was what they figured their business was. But somebody who looked like, I don't want to say a miscreant, but somebody who was not fitting the image of what a fine cut individual was obviously a narc. I looked fine. I looked properly trimmed. They wanted to sell to me. Go figure.
Oh boy.
So
James Seymour said you look like a tourist.
Well, that too, it could be. I mean, listen, New York.
David, I did at that time.
New York is, at least prior to COVID, is very much a city that is driven by tourism, and
Yeah, excuse me.
some of our some of our tourists know the city better than the locals do because they're repeat visitors
They
and
do the
that really excites them.
they
What's
do
your
the
doggy doing?
research.
What happened?
Uh-huh.
Did
No,
your
I said they
doggy?
do their research.
They do,
Yeah.
and they're repeat visitors. So I'm trying to catch up. Thank you, Tammy. Yes, Rachel and I were certainly meant to be. I, there's certain things that you don't fight when it comes to fate, and I think Rachel and I were discussing this earlier today. We went down to our local pub, just,
Mm-hmm.
to support it in a large extent. We want to go there 2 or 3 days a week, just have some food.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just drinking diet soda, just to enjoy the atmosphere and be around people. And the idea the two of us actually met would not be something that I would have expected or planned 20 years ago, 15 years ago. It happened. It was meant to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy for it. And the fact that Rachel has
Why not?
kept me for as long as she has, God bless. I mean, she could have done so much better, and she settled for me. Look at that. She's in the background. She's not even commenting. She's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I could have done better. Trying to catch up on the chat. Let's see what else we got here. Our first choice. Yes, it's a lot of work developing a new RPG system. Playtest groups going by June, July. Even with the basis of Artwork, there's many things to tweak, streamline, and create. And you know what? That's huge. And let's be honest with you. D&D is gone. The official system is 5th edition, right? But
Right.
but it's not really 5th edition, right? Because that's not counting. It's 5th edition if you're counting from AD&D. But we had original D&D, we had basic expert, we had Beckme. I mean, how many different basic editions were there? 3. If my now sober mind can get Holmes, Motivate, and Metzner, right? So there's 3.
I don't count them. I count those as basic, so I don't. I go from first edition on.
Well, I mean that's what Woods of the Coast does. But the reality is that
Yeah.
there's been more editions.
There were 4. There were 4 basics before there was an AD&D.
Yeah, So I mean, just something to think about. So for Arwen to becoming to the point now where you guys are going to be figuring a new system, not a new system, but an updated system. I was part of the 5e Friends and Family playtest, D&D Next, and there were a lot of rules that were really good that we were playtesting, and there were a lot of rules that were, in my opinion, holy shit, why the fuck am I playing this? But that's part of the reason why you're playtesting it, right? To see what works and what doesn't. If everything works right from the get-go, you're not going to do a playtest. You wouldn't need it. So, Arden was not the most coherent system back in the day. Yeah, I'll accept that argument too.
You said monsters earlier.
Yes.
And the first thing I thought of was All the World's Monsters. Remember those?
Yes, I do.
I have a big binder with a reprint of all 3 volumes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Back in the garage or someplace. I got to store it away. And it's like, these are cool. I need to print these out. Don't like the format, but I'll deal with that.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Like things like that are for inspiration, right? You don't have to like the format to be inspired by it, to be excited about it. So I think that's fine. Tammy, yeah. So tomorrow, Tom from Tabletop Tap Room and Tom's wife Tammy are going to be on Gamers Health tomorrow. We're actually going to have guests, Rachel and I. So I don't listen. If I'm expecting a great time. If it isn't a great time, blame me because I'm usually one that fucks things up anyway.
Yeah, we have guests sometimes. I mean, we just
No,
had
you and
Glen
I do.
Steele.
Gamers Health never has guests. Gamers.
By the way, by the way, Bad Mike's in the house.
No, he's not allowed to be in the house. Bad Mike, you're denied. I mean, you tell your grandson no more flying planes. Okay, he's been grounded. He's not allowed to fly any more planes.
Yeah, you hang around here long enough, we'll put you up on here.
Yeah, Mike still owes us. We got to grab him for a Friday show.
We do?
Well, didn't you want to talk movies with Mike?
Yeah, but I want to grill him.
Oh, see, so it's going to be an interrogation. All right, I got you.
Well, I'll let you do the lead. You're got experience with it.
What, with movies or with interrogations? Interrogations, yes, but
interrogations.
James Seymour, one of the YouTubers, said you could count over 20 actual different editions if you were picky about it. I
guess it could.
Well, OD&D, you have the Hobbits version versus the Hobbits redacted version. At least 3 versions of basic, but then if you count what was included in the basic box, whether there was included or whether there was the geomorphs included, it changes it. Whether they were dice or chits, changes it. The rules cyclopedia, which I really like, is not a reprint of Beckme. It is a rewrite of Beckme. So it changes some things up. That's a very good point.
Send them over to the ACM. They'll straighten them out. They got all the info over there.
Shadow, welcome.
Ben
Mike, we already spoke about you, Mike. You can go sit and rotate. Yes, there went the neighborhood. Look who we let in. Oh my God! Can you believe that we would actually allow these people into our live chat?
Say bye-bye.
What a cutie!
Back in the cage. He is. He's an old man like me.
There you go.
He doesn't even play games. He doesn't roll dice or anything.
Mike is already blaming me. Grandson is coming back to pick you up and fly you to North Texas. You know what? You better watch what you fucking say, Mike, because I might hold you on that one. Yeah. Hey, I want to get picked up at the airport by your grandson. Excuse me. That's more convenient than having the hotel shuttle pick me up.
Oh, get this. We were driving home from the game one last week, and Gage says, "You know what? I think we should fly to North Texas this year." I said, "Are you nuts? We're 3 hours away." Gee.
Glenn and I, this is bad, Mike, will have a movie show one Friday. We will shove Eric aside and let the 2 pros take over. Mark G.
Oh, by the way, Mike, we just got a 70-inch 4K TV.
Oh, geez. I thought my 65-inch was nice. Jeez.
Yeah, well, we're old. We need the big one so we can,
Hey, wait a second.
So we can. Now I need a 4K player, Blu-ray player.
Are you forgetting I am married to a woman that is legally blind? It's the reason why
I'm not forgetting.
5-inch TV set.
I ain't forgetting. It's just that we got there eventually too.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Mark G, I think 5e started out on the right foot, but they fell into the trap of too many character options and involvement in political issues. I wish it would have concentrated.
Bingo!
Setting adventures. Well, here's the thing. 5e was never centered on settings and adventures. It's never been the publishing forte of Wizards of the Coast. Sure, they've done a few, but everything that they've done that was original was not done in house. It was done by design teams that they hired to do so,
And third parties.
third parties. And then what they have published in house have mostly been what? Reprints or compilations of uh,
The Mega
never
Adventures.
never before published authors who were being
Supermodel.
published because they ticked off boxes. And I haven't read the material. I can't say how
And
good or how
don't
poor it
forget
was.
don't forget the impact of Dungeon Magazine in that too.
Well, prior Dungeon Magazine was great. I'm talking about 5e.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Dungeon Magazine was awesome. Now the problem with Dungeon Magazine, and I think we discussed, and maybe Mike and I touched on this briefly on Wednesday, is that some of the adventures were too wired in to the author's own setting. So
I don't know about that.
some of them, the plot points or the hook was all based upon their setting. The best ones were the ones that you could plug and play. And I'll be honest with you, I use most of them as plug and play because
Right.
it was something that you were like, all right, I've got my Dungeon Magazine, I can get an adventure ready for tomorrow, and what I've got the last 12 issues in hand. Let me find the right level.
Hey, since you're here and Mike is in chat, James Seymour is asking, is ntrpg full yet? I don't remember what the cutoff is for the tickets, but they're not full.
Right, they're not full. Now, that being said, you might try to register for games and say, oh my God, 90% of the games are full. There are still more games that are going to come live. And I'll be honest with you, there are also games that get...
I believe 16th is the cutoff for signing up for games, isn't it?
Not sure. Michael let us know. But here's the thing. Like last year, it didn't happen because I swear to God, I thought I had an open schedule, and my schedule was not as open as I thought it was. But I didn't. I only registered. I was only registered in one game. I didn't register for it.
I have one game.
James Shield signed me up for one game last year. His game that he was running.
I'm running a game, and I signed up for a game. That's it. I hope to be GMing more this year.
I'm gonna go with Swords and Wizardry in my pot in my bag, and some Inkwell design, cards, so I can it's his encounter cards or adventure cards, so I can pull an adventure out and run it, and it would probably be like a 2.5 hour session. I'm happy to do that. Get me 3 to 4 players or more.
I don't take the inspiration stuff so much anymore because I have a Kindle. And I've got all that stuff on there, plus OneNote, which I cribbed a lot of tables off of. So I can just take my pad and go, okay, roll. All right, let's play.
James Seymour, there's a Wednesday show? Yes, Talking Crit. Myself, Bad Mike, every Wednesday. There is a Wednesday show. Frequently we have special guests, not always. About half the shows we'll have like the second half will be about This Week in Gaming Stupid. We've had guests that have pretty much run right to the end. We haven't done as much Gaming Stupid. But, yeah. Sometimes you have the guests that keep you going through the whole show. And you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, Mike says you might be able to drive faster than fly.
Could be.
Yeah. Especially when you wait for the shuttle to pick you up.
Where do I hang my hat? In the closet.
Bam.
No, I'm right now. I'm in Edmond, Oklahoma, which is right next to Oklahoma City. So that's why I can get to the con so fast.
David Thompson, I haven't had a TV for several decades.
Good for you. I had several decades where I didn't have a TV either, but then I started collecting movies.
I'm gonna be honest
I'm a
with you.
film nut. I'm a film nut.
I pay for Verizon cable. I do not watch it. There are
See?
months where I haven't turned on the cable. I have YouTube and streaming services on my TV, and that's usually what we have on. I have to be honest.
I wish you guys could come too. I'd like to meet you.
Next year.
That's what they all say.
And although
Yeah.
Rich and I are trying to figure out plans on how to get up to Buffalo to visit the Emperor's Choice guys, so we shall see if that works this summer.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Wow.
Let's see. 12.
100 away from capacity, and it's beginning of May. That is good.
Is that for attendance?
Yep.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, that's cut off for submitting games or for signing up for games or both.
Oh wow, Zeb Cook just entered 2 games.
Oh, I gotta go and see that.
Wow.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud this year. My grandson Gage actually took the initiative and signed up for games by himself without me prodding. Wow.
So Bad Mike says they had 15 games this week. All right. Holy shit.
Because I told him about the 60. See, I wish he would get over what his thing is about. He will not walk up to a table and ask if there's any room to play. He won't do it. He thinks it's rude. And it's like, no, that's gaming.
That's gaming.
That's what gamers do.
Yeah. I mean,
they either say yes or no.
Right. I've been asked in the hallway of North Texas RPG Con, hey, Tenkar, your 11 o'clock game, do you still have room? I went, technically no, but since I stand, if you can find a seat at the table, you can join us at the table.
Last year at the Hyperborea game with Jeff Talanian that I was signed up for, Gage says, okay, I want to watch. And Jeff says, come over here, grab a character, you can play. That's all there is to it. Wow, it's 160 now? I knew they had to pay license, but I didn't know they had to play that much.
That's about $20 a year. Shit. You damn Brits. Hey, Glenn, you seem experienced in Supers games. What are your thoughts on the new Marvel game?
Haven't checked it out. I know it was coming out, but I haven't looked at it yet. I'm a big TSR Marvel fan, so.
Yep, we're going to try to get up to... Rach and I have 2 trips we got to do this summer. One is going a little bit south and hang out with James Spahn and his family. The other is going north and going to Buffalo. I'm not sure which one's quicker, whether it's quicker to go to Maryland or freaking...
shuffle off to Buffalo.
Shuffle up to Buffalo.
Good. That's good. We're going to sell out this year. Wow.
Now
I say that because I already have a ticket. So
right. So Rich and I have ours. But here's the thing. Normally, North Texas does not sell out. North Texas comes close, but I think we are fully, dare I say it, in the post-pandemic. Now we're endemic, right? Everybody's going to get COVID, and it's generally speaking not like it was 2 years ago. And I think we're in the mindset now of, I want to enjoy my life. How am I going to do that? I know I'm going to go to a convention. I know I'm going to go to Hawaii. I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I think people are making these decisions because they haven't been able to make them in 2 years.
I think of North Texas as kind of like the way Disneyland used to be, where if it was 3/4 full, it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's good. What is your thoughts on professional GMs? I hate them because I can't do it myself.
That's the most honest answer I've heard, Glenn.
Look, I've thought about it a couple of times. I thought, well, maybe I could get away with pay GM. Then I thought, like for corporate stuff, I said, no, they want the latest shiny, and I'm an old school GM. I don't play the latest shiny.
Right.
Because one, I play it, but I don't really care to run it. And number two, I don't want to spend any more money in the books. That's the one thing that keeps me. That's the one big thing that keeps me away from like 5th edition is the fact that I've got all these old D&D books, and I want to use those because I've already paid for them.
Well, see,
I don't want to pay $50 a module.
See, here's my issue with paid GMing, and God bless those that can do it.
Yes,
If
absolutely.
If you can make money, I'm not gonna say a living off gaming, but if you can make an income off gaming from running paid games, God bless you. Have at it. My issue is this, and this is knowing myself. I will, if I'm getting paid to GM, I am going to second guess myself every moment of every session and prep time because I'm getting paid. Therefore, I have to do an amazing
Not me.
fucking job. And oh well, if I TPK these fuckers, right? Is this what they paid for? I mean, and listen, you can TP. My view on TPKs at convention play is if it happens after the midway point of the game slot, TPKs are fine. You don't want to TPK people in a party in the first 45 minutes. But if you have a 4-hour slot, 2 hours and 5 minutes, you TPK, you laugh about it for 20 minutes, you're good. But
yeah, I can see that.
If you're getting paid, because convention play is kind of like are you getting a free ticket to GM? Some of them are. Are you getting benefits? Are you getting free snacks? Some cons are. You're getting some kind of benefit for it. You have to step up to the plate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you're gaming with your friends, they know what to expect. When you're gaming at a con, I always want to get my best show. But if people are literally putting money in my pocket, it's got to be better than my best. It's got to be.
I think I could rise to the challenge, but doing that on a regular basis is kind of wearing and stressful, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. I just don't. I don't think I would do well mentally as a paid DM. I mean, I might do a great game session and people would put like $100 in a pile. Oh, that was great. Here's a tip. And you'd be like, oh, that was awesome. But if you put money up in front of me, I'd be like, I can't do this.
I like gaming for like my grandson and my friends, And I'll tell you, one of the main reasons I got my grandson into gaming is the fact that I know someday, I hope I'm alive for it, but someday some people are going to ask him, how'd you get into gaming? My grandpa showed me.
There you go.
And all right, it's an egotistical thing, but hey, it's there.
No, that's good. Did you say ATMing? I don't know if I did. I would like to have an ATM at my game table so players could take money out. Just feed me with snacks and beer and we'll be good, man. That's all. You don't have to put money in my pocket. And yes,
yeah,
it causes that huge. George, you're right. It causes a huge pressure to have a good game. We all want to have a good game. That's always our intention. But if you're getting paid and it's less than a solid A, you're gonna feel like shit because you got paid for it. You guys are walking away with a B+.
Look, it's like vaudeville. You got to hone your act. You got to know how to, do it on demand. Not that I can't do it on demand, but you've got to be able to okay, I got you scheduled for next week. Fine. I got my thing here. I got my, it's organization I don't have.
Right. So John Miller, regarding TPKs at a convention, do people just give the players new pre-gen characters and start over? If you have extra pre-gen sheets, that's always an option. But
I always make sure I have at least 12 pre-gens at the table just because of that.
Yeah, see, my convention games, all right. What do I run at conventions? I run Swords and Wizardry Light. You roll your character at the fucking table. All right. Or if you're coming back, you're bringing back a character that you've used with me before. Maybe they're leveling up. But if I kill off a party, TPKs, and whether it's at home or at a convention, ruins the session. It ends the session. It might be a great TPK. But it might be, and if it's TPK toward the end of the session, oh, okay. if it's a TPK towards the end of this, it just twists, Rach.
Oh,
What
I
am-
didn't know. I thought it had a special thing.
Oh, it does, but hold on a second. Hold on.
Oh, you lied. You lied.
Wait.
First world problems here.
Ah!
Why?
I got lime all over myself.
So put it in the coconut.
We put the lime in the coconut.
Drink it all up.
All right, so folks, live, you just saw me spill.
No, we didn't.
Well,
We didn't. Because
didn't
your
do it.
background. Because your background.
Oh, okay. So this is the lime. Here you go, Rich.
Thank
It's
you so
open now.
much.
I do like lime. So all I need is a little Corona now to go with it. Now I'd be a happy puppy. Oh,
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I enjoy a game naturally without the pressure of being paid. I mean, listen, we're gonna let's look at the elephant in the room. The Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum. Up to $100 a player to sit at a table with a known personality to run a game. I 4 hours for $100. That's not a return on investment for me. I'm sorry. I can't. Gaming is gaming is supposed to be a process that's enjoyed by all members, including the DM, including the players. You give and take. You give and you give back. I don't see people getting playing organized play and getting paid for it. So
Yeah, true.
as a DM, hey, do your fellow players sometimes, like when I was in my 20s and we came to my house, we go out to get you take a break in the 8-hour session to get dinner at like Wendy's or McDonald's. Were the times when my players would say, we got you. We're going to take care of you.
Right.
Sure. All right. So you got your combo supersized or whatever, but you weren't getting cash. There's this thing when cash is given, it changes a lot of the.
Oh, Doc, you don't know how many times I've done that.
Yeah.
I run the game to attend the con or get a room with 4 other guys, but it's a room.
James, does the game get better or worse when beer is involved?
That depends.
In my 20s, I did not allow alcohol at the table. Gamer 1.0 did not allow alcohol at my table. We could drink after the game, or if we were gonna play board games, we could drink. Chaos Marauders, Nuclear War, any of that shit.
I played in a Champions game in San Jose where the GM would regularly drink Night Train.
Really?
Or Thunderbird. I think it was Thunderbird. Yeah.
Well, my thing was, my group was a bunch of fuck ups anyway. If they were drinking, they were uncontrollable. You could not control that. You could not herd those cats. Okay, that colony of cats was out of control when they were sober. Put some beers in them. Put some whiskey in them. It was all fucked up. Now,
yeah, but first of all, 1, this was the GM, and 2, this guy could drink anybody under the table.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Like, would I allow drinking at the table?
Yes,
now?
John. Yeah.
Yes, I would probably, because I would probably be happy to drink. Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum was a grift, not a gaming expo. All right, or gaming experience. It very well might be that. Listen, for a lot of people, I'll be honest. A lot of people, the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum is a bucket list place to be. Not for the newer generation, and not for all the older generation, but for a certain percentage of people. And I know some who were like, "Oh, well, I went there to TSRCon. I was there for like 10 minutes. I just wanted to be able to say I was at that location where TSR first kicked off and be able to say I was there and mark it on my bucket list."
It's kind of like these influencers or these guys who want to go to the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser in Walt Disney World just so they can trash it. Same thing with Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum.
Yeah, I mean,
you lucky person, you.
But have you gone on in those last 36 years? I'm sure you have.
I guarantee you he has.
I'm about to say, yeah.
I've been there. I've seen him. I've been in his games. Yes. I missed
Okay.
TundraCon. I really missed TundraCon. But I never get out there anymore. Or OrcCon. But
David T. Worst of my experience. We had to ban booze because one guy who insisted on drinking 6 cans of lager every session, he became very disruptive.
there's always one of those. There's always one. There's always one of those guys.
I think all the bathroom breaks would be very disruptive, but that's just me. I mean, that's
Mhm.
six cans. Once you break the seal on that keg, your personal keg, you're done. Drunk gaming is
Yep.
only fun if you're the sober person watching it. I don't know,
True.
man. Drunk gaming is
Oh.
fun if you're drunk.
Oh, definitely, Doc. Yeah, I've been there too.
I'm not going to ask, Glen. It seems
I have and it wasn't gaming. Let me put it that way. Well, I was in theater,
Oh, okay, that's right. A lot of Eve players just have to make it to Iceland for the yearly convention. I've heard about that. I never got into Eve, so
Oh, did they kill Under 21 because of COVID?
I guess so. Yeah.
I guess usually 2020 is the one they get. I mean, I missed North Texas in 2020. That hurt. That really hurt.
Yeah. No, 2020.
I could have gone too, but my grandson talked me out of it.
Really?
Grandpa, you're gonna die. You're old. Okay. You're gonna die from COVID. Don't go.
Oh.
Okay.
That makes it, and that's part of the real world decisions you have to make, right?
Yeah.
You don't always make decisions based upon what I don't give a fuck. Others give a shit, and then you're like, oh.
I've got to say, yeah, you're right. I've got to say that I have very, very rarely been disappointed by a game at a con. Now, watch, knock on wood, this year is going to be the one. But I mean,
if you wanted to be disappointed, man, we can make sure that happens.
Oh yeah. I'm usually the one doing the disappointing. But the point is, I've rarely been like put off by a player or a GM or anything. And I think I've been lucky, kind of like the way Kickstarters are with me. I've been lucky in Kickstarters.
Right.
Hell no.
James,
there's a topic.
You want a topic? You want to? Wait a second. We're nearly an hour and a half into this. Now you're asking for a fucking topic. That's it.
Oh damn!
All right, listen. What were
we supposed to be talking about?
You know what? Whatever topic we had, this is what you get. All right, because we've just decided if you're going to ask about it now, it's done. It's a done.
Unless we have a guest on here, the other shows that he does are more structured than this. This is the bull session, the gaming bull session.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. The only thing we're not doing is like playing poker or something,
It's like topic is bad Mike horning in.
Mike horning in. There we go. On a legit show. Oh, we've got a legit show. How about that?
How'd that happen?
Wow. I don't know what happened.
Let's not take it to that far extreme. By the way, I had a comment on I think it was YouTube that somebody's like, I really enjoy your show, but ditch the virtual reality background. And here's the thing. If you don't have the virtual reality background behind me, then you get to see like Rach making faces behind me. You'll hear her making faces and comment, but you're gonna you'd see her as she's doing her nails in the background or whatever. You don't need to see that shit.
As opposed to me, you see my office with all my DVDs and Blu-rays and a little white puppy.
Oh, your stuff came, Rach?
See, my polish came.
Oh yeah, okay.
I got a dog in the back. That should mean something.
Right. It's like, so topics. You want topics? I give you topics. No, you don't want topics. Trust me.
Well, we got plenty to talk about. But like I said, I'm going to get back. I hear all these stories all the time from people saying, "Oh, how was that game you went to? Oh man, they got that one guy who wouldn't shut up, or this GM who was real tool, or I've never had that happen. I mean, I can't remember the last time that happened. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've been very lucky. I'm sure there's a lot of stories out there, but they don't involve me.
James wants to know
What-
if there's a difference between an inn, a roadhouse, and a tavern besides one rents rooms by the night.
Well, a roadhouse is like you're just everybody's favorite Saturday night thing. Or is that? No, that's Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse.
Thank you. The only time I've heard of a roadhouse was from
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And an inn, do you necessarily have to rent a room? A lot of times.
Yeah, that's
room,
think
right?
think of that as a hotel bar and restaurant. And a tavern is just like a bar or a pub.
Right.
And a roadhouse is like a bar outside the city limits.
Ah.
Hey, look, you have a roadhouse in my Gangbusters game. You have Tenkar's Roadhouse right outside Rock Junction, right next door to Rach's Beer Garden.
Ah.
Nice.
Rach, you have a beer.
Like it. I've arrived.
Rachel's Beer Garden, yes.
You have a beer garden, darling.
And this is Prohibition, so it's like wink, wink. We're serving root beer. Wink, wink.
Root beer garden.
David, traditionally an inn would be where you would stay the night. The tavern is where you would go to have a drink. There you go.
Right, exactly. And roadhouse is, basically what happens at the roadhouse stays at the roadhouse. Just like North Texas. What happens at North Texas stays at North Texas. Right, Mike?
Well, Mike cannot confirm nor deny that, by the way.
That's a good idea.
Kansas used to have an outside bar and an old rock quarry. Well, that's an interesting place to have.
That's one way to get stoned.
Everybody must get stoned. Is that a song?
Yeah, I think it is. And people say I'm funny at my games. I don't know why. The other week, but it was the Thursday game. Matt says we find this crypt with these sarcophagi that we killed a couple of things in. And I said, before I leave, I'm going to take a dump in this one. He said, why? He says, I don't want to make sure it's interred.
Why does it have to be a sarcophagi? What are you, sexist? It could have been a sarcophagal.
Gosh. You almost sound like Gilbert Gottfried there.
I could do my Gilbert Gottfried, but it's not quite good
We're going to do it's dueling Godfrieds here.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
I could do it, but it wouldn't be quite good enough. I could try.
A guy walks into an agent's office.
See, listen, James, you wanted to know.
By the way, in my Swords of Wizardry game, the players keep running into every single proprietor is Gilbert Gottfried, and they're all brothers in different towns.
That's my other brother, Gilbert. I just call him Gilly for short.
Now, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I totally interrupted.
No. James is like, what is the topic for tonight? This is it. Okay, you, the viewer, you, the listener,
the viewer,
you're the viewer, you're the listener. You are the topic for tonight. You are driving the conversation.
Look, nine times out of 10, these guys drive the topic anyway.
Yeah, I know. Listen, when we have a topic, guess what happens? You fuckers derail us anyway. Okay, Glen and I are like, we're going to discuss the intricacies of. And then,
I run this show like I run Thaco's Hammer. Notes? What notes? Oh, we have subjects. Okay, and everybody, Save or Die took a lot of heat for doing like all email shows. I love them in Thaco's Hammer because we're not boring. We've had some of our best shows were all email shows where like the four of us are just bouncing off each other. It's great. Anyway, sorry.
So So you're saying that the hot tub time machine was a great. Sorry, Glenn, I can't. I was gonna make a joke out of it, but I did not enjoy this save or die email shows. I was very.
I mean, yeah, but this was after I left.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
We're gonna have the hot tub time machine. I
Yes,
enjoyed I
my
enjoyed the
YouTube, yeah.
show. I thought it was a good show, but when we did the hot tub time machine for emails and voicemails, take head, impart screen, impact.
Well,
So
it was either that or when Peterson was on. I saw a lot of negative things about. Oh man, he is so dull.
see, I find John to be
I find him interesting.
very interesting. Oh my God, he listen. If and I think this is where the dividing line comes. If you are at all interested in the history of this hobby, John is an amazing guest. He's
Mhm.
an amazing speaker. If you're only interested in the current events of the hobby, then nothing that John says is going to interest you, and he is extremely boring. I, as a history major and a gamer since 1980 or so, find John's insights to be amazingly awesome. I can understand people who don't find it the same way. I would tell them they're probably fucking wrong, but I can understand it. But you know,
Oh, here's another for those of you who don't. We got to start doing this again on Thaco's Hammer. Every once in a while, we do a second edition quiz show because I have a copy of the old AD&D trivia game.
oh, I love that game.
I host it, and the other three play it, and we just like, oh, it's just fun. I got to find my copy so we can start doing that again.
My only problem with that game is that there are a few questions that I would screw up because my AD&D 1E knowledge would get confused with my AD&D 2E knowledge. But yeah,
It wouldn't matter what edition I get screwed up. That's why I play the host because we get screwed up. That's my game, so
oh, fair
I
enough.
would not play that. What
I
is
got,
your best?
I got Rach. I got to throw this out there. That smells delicious. Whatever you've made.
Oh, good.
Rach has made a late dinner, and I can smell it in the
Good
background.
night, good night, Dave. Oh, by the way, I'm going to try and get around to it after the con, but my next review on Old Man Grognard on YouTube should be the Arduin trilogy.
Nice.
Okay, I have to do it. I already made up the title card.
Oh, excitamento! Yes, sir. Very nice. Very nice.
But that should be a lot of fun, though. I mean, I'm not always the most articulate or the most organized person, even though I have a big old index card full of information. You know what? What's interesting about my reviews is the fact that I'm surprised people get anything out of them, because to me, the more excited I get about a game, the less I tell them because I start geeking out about it. I mean, you watch my Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls review. It's a hot mess because I went all over the place because I was so excited about the game. Even Ken St. Andre called me out on it.
Really?
Yeah, he said, this isn't really doing anything for the game. And then when I was doing my blog, it's at the same time, I did a review on the blog, which sort of made up for it. I says, okay. Awesome, Glen. When was that? Oh, that was like a couple of years ago. It's still up there on YouTube, Old Man Grognard Reviews. Yeah, just look for Old Man Grognard. But
and Glenn's Arduin will be coming up. Remember to include kill kittens in your review, Glenn, according to James.
What's that?
What was that good? They killed kittens in there? What? Say
and my philosophy on reviews is I don't review bad games.
Well, so Arduin, they won't have that problem because you'll be Oh, George wants to know
Yeah.
when are you doing the audio books? He'll be doing it.
It's going to be in sometime in June
Yeah,
after the
probably
con. After the con, I got a lot of stuff going on here with the artwork and doing the games and stuff. So I'm going to try and clear some time in June to get the reviews starting to go again, or at least just be on YouTube more. I don't know, except for this. I mean, I started the Daily Show just because I wasn't doing anything and I wanted to keep my hand in this stuff.
All right.
That's why I started doing the Radio Grognard. Anyway, I'm talking too much about me again, so I'll shut up.
No, Glenn, that's fine. Again, as Glenn peeled back the curtain and said, basically, our whole show prep was, what we gonna talk about? I don't know, whatever our live viewers want to talk about, and that's what we've been
Sometimes
doing.
we do have something to talk about, especially if Eric has some news in the gaming world that we need to know, or Kickstarters that haven't delivered, or something like that. By the way, you got any of that stuff?
No, I think we're. Okay. I think we're well. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, it's been pretty.
Glen Seal. This is the last weekend for, I think, Monkey Blood, whatever Monkey Blood's turning out.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Glenn. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Somebody take Glenn out to the shed. But honestly, I have a huge amount of fun doing these Friday nights with Glenn, because Glenn and I work very well off each other, and this is like my DM style. It's improv.
And you'll get more of us at the con.
Oh my God! At the con. I arrive with Rach on Wednesday, and you will probably get some sort of live stream from the con Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We probably have something each of those days. We will be doing a whiskey tasting. The details have yet to be decided, but there will be another.
I'm looking for a champion for me, because I'm not doing this year, but somebody want to represent
Somebody's
me.
going to have to step in and take Glenn's seat.
I'll make Jason do it if I have to. Jason's going to be there. It's going to be me, Jason, and Gage. I don't think Mark Hunt's coming. I'm not sure. I can't get an answer out of him, so it's like, okay, well.
It was great to see Mark last year.
It was fantastic to see Mark. We had so much fun. I mean, he ran that Tall Tales game. I had a lot of fun in that.
James, more of you do something planned for midnight. Midnight auction never gets aired. You may get video clips of some parts of the midnight auction
or photos.
After the fact, okay? But you don't get it. Bad Mike's like, Mark isn't coming. Mike, I don't know. I know nothing.
I like I said, I've talked to him. I'm doing a project for him, and every time I ask him, it's like, oh, I got after GaryCon. Then I got to ask my wife. So it's like, I'll ask him one more time.
All right, hold on. We got to invite somebody in.
Not bad, Mike.
Yes, hold on, Mike.
It's the bad Mike. All you people who left early, you're not saying that.
Don't you know?
See this on the repeat.
So, Mike, you look at your Facebook. You'll see the invite.
Crown Royal, the official dice bag of gaming.
Oh, all right. Oh, he's got his horns on.
He's got his horns on. Did you have to show up horny?
Oh, hey, dude, come on. It's a family show. Hey, no.
Really? I wouldn't
just,
know that.
Just trying out my floppies. These are my floppies.
I don't want to know.
So, no, I wanted to say real quick, because the whiskey tasting, we're going to have a sponsor for that, and I'm not sure how we're going to do it. We may do it like the week before, maybe a couple weeks before. We're going to do, and we're going to do it. We'll probably announce it on the show who's going to sponsor. But I was trying to look for a list who was in the show, the whiskey taste last year, and all I could remember was Glen was in there. Glen, you said you're not going to be in it this year.
No, I couldn't take. I'm a lightweight. I couldn't take it.
Well, it was Eric and Rach, and then Ty Beard and me, and then Jason Braun, who's not there this year. Who else was in there, Eric? I thought there was a few people. I can't remember. I was going to give an opportunity.
I think Jason.
Drink.
Yeah, Jason. The Jason I know was there. I think he was participating.
Okay, I was going to give anybody who showed up last year an opportunity, because one of the things about sponsoring the show is you can actually be in. You're going to be in the show. Right. Then you get to join the whiskey tasting. So you're basically paying your admission to get in the whiskey tasting. So I was trying to find out who was going to be there, because I didn't want to tell anybody that was there last year you can't come. I was going to say, we can continue that on, but since we're missing some people, I just don't know. If anybody remembers, let me know. But I was sitting next to Ty Beard, and then I had Chris here, and then Eric and Rachel, and then somewhere was Jason, and somewhere was Glenn. And that's all. And there was other people, but it was hazy. It was, things happened.
Alcohol infused. Yeah, I know.
I lost my sight at a certain point. I woke up in a trash bag outside the hotel. Long story, but it was rough. So we'll have more details for that, but we will offer a position, and it's actually kind of cool, because you get to taste 5 or 6 different kinds of whiskeys, and
they are very different.
At least that many, and rate them. So it's kind of fun to be in. So I will push it a little more when we get towards the date of the con, a little closer. And I was going to say, Glenn, I can I'm a friend of Mark's on Facebook. I'll contact Mark Hunt tomorrow and see what his plans are.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know, because he's given me some good ideas for my game, and it's like I almost want to. I asked him twice, and I feel if I do it again, I'm gonna like.
Well, I'll contact him and just say, hey man, you gonna. I would love for him maybe to be a guest at some point in the future if he continues the good work he's doing. So we'll see about that. But.
Oh yes, he got some really good contacts last year too.
Yeah, so he did, and he impressed a lot of people. A lot of people were very impressed by his stuff, not just the gangbusters, but his other things too.
Games he ran, it was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Anyway, so that was it. I just wanted to pop on and say hi to you guys.
I might
straighten that out.
I might have a thing or two for you at the con when I show up.
Okay. My fingers are getting tired of typing. And we're going to, and at some point, when maybe if Eric doesn't feel good that weekend, maybe if Eric is tired, maybe he's drunk, Eric and Glen and I are going to take over the show. We're going to shove Eric over here, and we're going to do our
talk
take
movies.
And we're going to do top movies, top noir, top horror, we're going to have like a top 10 list. We're going to do top 10 list of all our favorites.
Hey, you like westerns, right?
I like westerns. Yes, I do.
Good. I got something for you.
Oh, here we go.
I had this on eBay. I'm going to take it off because they're not selling. This is the Randolph's.
Randolph Scott, great stuff.
The Randolph Scott Roundup. There's 12 of his movies in 2 volumes.
I would love to flip some of those. He's in one of my favorite westerns of all time. What's the name of it? My favorite westerns of all time that I can't remember the name of.
The Tall T or Seven Men from Now?
Tall T. Tall T is great.
Tall T is
that
great.
Is a really good. Because that was made kind of towards the end of his career, and I can't remember who he co-starred with, but they were both.
That was Wire Pal. Have Gun Will Travel. Richard Boone.
Was it Richard Boone?
Hey, he was the bad guy. Yeah, Richard Boone.
Oh yeah, Richard Boone. Yeah. That's right. But no, it's a really good. For those if you kind of like westerns, but you don't really like westerns, that's the western for you, because it's one of those westerns that way before Unforgiven, it takes the piss out of the western.
He was sort of like, I always thought of him as Gary Cooper light.
Right. And by the way, the Tall T is based on an Elmore Leonard story.
That's right. That's right.
Very weird.
I got all these on Blu-ray now, and they've got a commentary talking all about Elmore and the Tall T. It's great.
It's really good. Maureen O'Sullivan's great in it. It's a very good movie. Even if you don't like westerns, it's a good one, because it's a western, but it's really not. It's got a lot of other things going on there.
And if you ever get a chance, And if you ever get a chance, watch Decision at Sundown with him, because I think of it as his The Searchers.
I don't think I've ever seen Decision at Sundown. I need to watch that then.
Yeah, I'll hang out of these for you, and I'll bring them to the con with me.
Yeah, that's always something good to kill an evening. I like to watch cable sometimes, not cable, but the different channels on Direct TV. But they have everything has commercials now. Nothing's all the way through anymore. It just drives me crazy. So
they have to pay extra for that.
Yeah, it's just that stinks.
Anyway.
But yes, that's a Randall Scott was really good, and like I said, he's playing against type here because he was seen as he's the, like you said, he's the golden boy, and he plays kind of a character who's just going through a crisis in his life. Let's put it that way. So
yeah,
it's really good.
Well, yeah, I don't want to go on any further.
See, we already like Eric already fell asleep over there. We just started.
No,
there you go. Yeah,
I'm sitting here smelling. Listen, I am sitting here drooling as I'm smelling Rachel's dinner.
Well, so make your list, Glenn. We're gonna make top 10 westerns, horror, all the genres. We'll do war movies. We'll make a list, and then Glenn and I will throw them back and forth. And
we'll do it right before the auction.
Yes,
right before.
Oh, we'll waste everybody's time for 3 hours.
Hey, as long as we're broadcasting it,
That'd be a good show, man. Because I watched a lot of movies in my youth, and I don't watch as many movies now. But I was a prolific movie watcher in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I mean, especially the 80s. I used to see a new movie, like probably 4 or 5 movies a week. I had a girlfriend that worked at Blockbuster, so that I was like a kid in a candy store, baby. And actually, I take it back. It wasn't a Blockbuster. It was one of the rivals. It was a rival.
Hollywood, probably Hollywood Video.
Might have been, yeah. And so I was like a kid in a candy store, and I dated her for a couple years, and boy,
let me tell you, I started in high school as being a film buff, and let me tell you, all the stuff I got in my head about movies goes right into my gaming. Right into my
especially westerns. That's an interesting genre. It's a lot.
They're good for D&D. Yeah, because you can convert them real easy.
James asked the question there, Mike. What is the crib notes of ntrpg con history? Well, here we go. I'm going to try to fit it in the next few minutes, real quick. But
I'm going to go get a drink at the bar.
No, I'm going to make it quick. I'll make it quick. So I went to my first Gen Con in 2007, 2008. Had a great time. I didn't play any games there. All I did was meet people. I said, this is really fun. I'd love to have something where I could meet people. And then I was telling Doug about it, and Doug Ray, my friend Doug Ray, he had never been to a gaming con ever. He's like, man, that sounds really fun. So that summer, I think it was 2008, we invited a bunch of people over that lived in the area that were local, and we hung out and played some games and sat out by the pool and did some stuff. And Doug was like, man, we need to get a convention going. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So we didn't really think about it. And then next year, about February, he says, oh, we're going to do this convention thing this year. I was like, what? Like, oh, we're doing it this year? He goes, yeah, let's get it going. And so we belong to a site called the Achaeum, which is a collector's site, probably the premier site online. ACM Achaeum, yeah. You can. There's like it's not a real word, so everybody pronounces it differently. But it's a really good site. It's a collector site, and we mostly just talk to people there and just said, hey, how would you like to come to Texas? We're going to game. It's going to be really small. We're having it in La Quinta. We got a few people to come, and I thought, let's ask some local people that are gaming legends to come, because we don't really have a budget. So Dennis Astaire lived in Austin. He was going to drive up. Janelle Jaquays lived in, actually at the time was still Paul, lived in Rockwall, which is about an hour away. He was going to drive over. I talked to Steve Marsh, who I knew, but he was out of town. He wasn't able to come. And then Doug just up and called Tim Cass, Frank Metzer, and Rob Kuntz and said, hey, how would you like to come? I'll pay everything. And so they said they'd come. So I was like, wow, we got a pretty good little guest list for old school gaming. And I'd also noticed that at the time, 3E was very popular. There was really no conventions for old school gaming at all. And so the only convention that even had a track for old school gaming was Total Con, who had Frank Metzer there running some games. So anyway, so we had everybody coming to town. We had about 55 people. and everybody had a blast and got to hang out. Doug paid for everything. The whole convention was free. He paid for everything that year, including a bus tour up to Reaper Miniatures on Sunday. We did that. He paid for a barbecue on Saturday. I mean, it was crazy.
Wow.
He spent a lot of money, but it was great. Everybody went home and raved about it. So the next year we had about 100 people, and so it just kind of built from there. Everybody was like, "Wow, we've heard of this convention. It sounds great." And then next year we'd have like 150. So it just kept building from there. And we had Jason. I forgot. I don't want to forget Jason Braun. Jason Braun lived in San Antonio at the time. We had him drive up too because we knew him. So that was kind of our official first year guest list. It was cheap. It was people that lived nearby that we could call, except for Frank and Rob and Tim who had to fly in. But that was kind of it. And so we just kind of and the thing is,
Jim Ward too.
No, he did not come till the second or third year. He was already starting to get sick about that time. That's just about when he started to get sick. So this is about 14 years ago. At the time, he was not feeling good, and actually, he came the first year invited him. I think the second year he had a heart attack. That's his first heart attack, and so he couldn't come. That was probably year 3. So he had a rough history with this. I think he had to cancel twice, which sucked. So that was just kind of it. The thing about most conventions is when they're run, people run them to make money. This was a labor of love, 100%. It was not made to make money. And because of that, Doug was able to do a lot of things that you're not able to do with most conventions, which was mainly just running to the red. The convention ran to the red every year. He didn't care. He just wanted to put on a good con. So that was kind of it. And then we moved to hotels. Second, third year, we had another hotel. Fourth year, we had another hotel. And then, fifth year on, we've been at the Marriott properties. Well, we went to Marriott from year 5 to about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
That's where Glen fell down and broke his shoulder in the bathroom.
I missed that. I missed that hotel.
They were nice. That was a good hotel. We just outgrew it. They were very nice.
Yeah.
And then now this year we're at the West End, and we've been here for about 3 or 4 years now.
With more amenities, I hope this time.
Yes. I don't know if I told this. I'm going to announce this real quick. Gary called the West End, and they're going to absolutely bend over backwards this year to make sure our hotel experience is good because Gary and I think it's because our contract is up this year and they really want us to re-sign. But we have the breakfast buffet back, Glenn. I don't know if you know that. They told us the breakfast buffet's back.
Are you still gonna have the lunch trucks out there?
Lunch trucks will still be there. They're going to make
Gage was asking. They're going to be lunch trucks, right?
Then we had some good trucks. Like we'll have some good ones again this year. But yes, they're bringing back a lot of stuff. And they told us that the lunch experience will be better. They're going to make it a lot. Apparently, they're going to make it a lot nicer this year. So we'll see. So anyway,
well, that's good. That's good.
So I got to hijack your show for 10 minutes to talk about my con. I love it. I
love talking about North Carolina.
I think that's going to be how we wrap it up tonight.
Well, it would be the same if you two didn't come. So we're very happy to always have Eric.
Save or Die was what got me to North Texas because I didn't know about it and they told me about it. Then 2 or 3 years after the second year, I went. 2 guys from Ireland showed up because he heard us talk about it on Save or Die.
I remember those. Yes,
that was. And they went for 2 years in a row.
Not only that, I don't know if you remember the guy from Russia that showed up one year. He heard he was listening to Save or Die when you guys used to do the podcast. And he heard Save or Die talk about this Texas. Well, he had relatives in Dallas he hadn't seen in about 20 years. He flew in from Russia, didn't know it. I mean, just like drove over to the hotel. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I just heard about you guys on Save or Die. And I thought I'd show up and I was like, holy crap. And nice guy. He actually moved back to Dallas. He moved to Dallas this year because he was so worried about living in Russia. I saw his. Yeah, I need to ask if he would talk about coming. I saw his Facebook post, but he said that he hasn't talked on internet much because things were getting really bad in Russia. But his family, they basically got out. They got out of Russia before it started getting bad.
That's good.
So yeah, he just showed up one year. So you guys have Save or Die had an international reach, man. You guys used to.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. No, Save or Die is not being made. It's Save for Half is sort of the
spiritual successor.
Follow up. I'm not involved in that or anything, but
it's a very good show. That's still Save for Half's a good show too. It's really good again.
Yeah. I mean, it's enough. I can keep Thaco's hammer going. You know?
Only so much one man can do.
That's right.
Well, thanks for letting me pop on, guys, and end your
No
show.
problem.
And end
no
your show
problem.
and end it.
And but forever.
Forever.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, but we'll have Joe and the other miscreants on next week. But yes, end it for 2 weeks.
You know, you could
And
always
Eric have no idea who our guest is next week, but I'm wondering, Eric, maybe we should do what we did last year and have a lead up to North Texas and have some North Texas special guests. So
I'm happy with that, man.
all right.
Mike,
I'll see how I can drag in the next 3 weeks. We'll see.
Mike, we already trumped you having Glen Seal on. So
See, that's the type of guest you need at the con. Can you imagine the cost of flying Glen in from the UK,
Ireland, UK? Yeah,
Nothing
UK.
wrong with Glen. What's wrong with Glen Seal?
Nothing. I love the guy.
Flying him in from Ireland.
That does. I don't know if that fits in our budget. Maybe in future years.
So he still wants us to get the 40-year campaign guy. We can try. I wouldn't mind having.
The guy running the 40-year campaign.
I wouldn't mind having Captain Courageous on.
I think that we might not be quite the level of Captain Courageous, but you never know.
Well, he's pretty good. I saw a video about how to roll new way to roll your stats. I liked it. With
dice, was it pencil dice? Sorry.
No. Oh yes, it's the Ken It's the Ken method of rolling your stats.
Or is it deck dice? Come on, we have to use everything but dice for dice. Oh, geez.
Anyway, we should wrap it up,
folks. Again, everybody in the live stream that's been participating and commenting and questioning and everything else. You're the reason why these streams work as well as they do. Why Glenn and I and even Mike and I on Wednesdays, we do as well as we do because of you all. You make us better. So
that's right.
Keep up the good work.
That is right.
Keep clicking the
like and subscribe. We need
subscribe buttons.
All that stuff.
Those. Yes.
If you see links on any of the YouTube videos we have, they're probably going to be my Drive-Thru RPG affiliate link. That's what funds the giveaways. It's been doing very well this month. We should have more giveaways. It funds equipment. I mean, this is how we take care of the crew, and how we take care of the giveaways for you when we do little raffles. So, folks, still in the midst of the world of the pandemic. You're all fucking adults. I'm not your father. Use your common sense. All right? I'm not going to tell you what to do. Don't give a shit. All right? Really.
On that note,
be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice tomorrow. Game with Health, 8 p.m.
With guests.
Special guests. Tom from Tabletop Tap Room, the YouTube channel, and his wife Tammy will be joining us at 8 p.m. Should be a great show.
And keep listening to Thaco's Hammer and Radio Grognard.
North Texas RPG Con, first weekend of June.
Wednesday nights. We're gonna do North Texas lead up until. As a matter of fact, we're gonna do what we did last year, Eric. We're gonna have the show at the con June 1st, Wednesday night. What do you think?
Yes,
we'll do that again from the con live. So we're gonna build up next 3 weeks. Now I gotta go find special guests.
I won't be there till Wednesday.
I gotta go find North Texas special guests.
There you go. You can do it, Mike. You can do it.
How about saying?
Look into your drawers. Anyway, night, folks.
Good night, folks.
Later.